Welcome, everyone, to Ted Reeve Arena here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and the 2015 Uhaul Brawl. I am the Derby Nerd.
And I am Pink Lemonade. Welcome to this event hosted by GTA Rollergirls as well as the Toronto Roller Derby.
And produced here live, if you're watching on the stream, by layer9.ca. And our first game of the night is going to be the Glitterazzi versus the Blundstone Brigade. Blundstone Brigade in the black, Glitterazzi in the white. This, of course, is an all-star game. These are mixed squads, and tonight we have 12 different leagues represented over the course of these two games.
Our first game is an intermediate skill level. There's going to be two 20-minute halves, so 40 minutes of non-stop action. Lots of glitter, lots of rainbows.
As there always is. Of course, this event this year renamed, formerly known as the Clam Slam, now known as the Uhaul Brawl, and word on the track is that we might be altering the names every year just to keep things fresh.
Well, there you go. It's a big part of Pride Weekend in Toronto. Of course, your first lead jammer, number 862 for the Glitterazzi, that's Glitter Snatch.
Some skaters you may recognize if you are fans of Derby, skating under different names tonight. Glitter Snatch, known as Wactor in Toronto Roller Derby.
M.I. Gay for the Blundstone Brigade getting out and forcing a call-off from Glitter Snatch, but not before she scores several points. 6 points? 5 points? 4 points? How many points?
4 points.
We've settled on 4 points.
We are still working on some technical issues here.
Yes. Technically.
Yes. I can hear you now.
There we go.
That's a lot better.
I can hear myself think.
All right. A few things to note here. This opening game of the 2015 Uhaul Brawl, two 20-minute halves. And as we move on to the advanced level game in a second, we will have a full WFTDA regulation game. Looks like there's going to be the first power jam of the game is going to go to the Glitterazzi as Tiny Beaver heads to the penalty box.
Vigillionaire, your lead jammer for the Glitterazzi from Toronto Roller Derby.
That's right. Vigillionaire skates as Murder Cat for the Gorgor Rollergirls. Also, fans from Durham region, if you're watching, may remember her as well, skating for the Motor City Madams, where she began her derby career.
5-point Grand Slam going up on the board. Vigillionaire making an easy work of that Blundstone pack.
And it looks like we have a dead stopped pack at turn number 4.
Blundstone attempting some slow derby, but not able to control Vigillionaire.
Tiny Beaver back on the track. She does skate as Tiny Fury in her home league. And after a power jam, it is 19-0, just 2.5 minutes into this game.
Blundstone's yet to get on the board.
All right, we are just settling in here, too, as well. We've got another game coming up at 8 p.m., so stick with us here on layer9.ca. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm the Derby Nerd here with Pink Lemonade. In case you were just tuning in now, we are underway in our opening game of the 2015 Uhaul Brawl.
And another power jam, but this time for the Blundstone Brigade Noodle Caboodle, the jammer for Glitterazzi heading to the box. And M.I. Gay, now your lead jammer.
And Noodle Caboodle, a skater for Toronto Roller Derby on the Divas, so on the Fresh Meat team.
M.I. Gay trying to get through on the inside, knocked out of bounds. Recycled back by Glitter Snatch.
M.I. Gay from Hammer City Rollergirls skates as Murder She Rolled.
Commander Box's Scream Queen working to keep her back. And it's a cut track against M.I. Gay. This is going to switch up the power jam in favor of the Glitterazzi.
Sometimes in these all-star game situations, it takes a little while for skaters to get comfortable with one another, and we are seeing a lot of power jams here early on in this one.
Noodle Caboodle skating anti-derby direction to get back into the pack.
3 blockers on in this penalty kill. Nice offense from the Glitterazzi, eventually allowing Noodle Caboodle through.
Noodle Caboodle on a scoring pass now.
Glitter Snatch leading this offense. Nice defense, though, from Skater skates as Stabby Road in Toronto Roller Derby. skating here as Oliver Klozoff. I gotta say, I love the Uhaul BRAWL names.
Absolutely. Like if derby names weren't fun enough, and then you get to have a second derby name just for this event.
Power Jam continues now. MI Gay back in the pack.
Oh my goodness. It's a revolving door in the jammer side of the penalty box.
And Malcontent heading to the penalty box too. Malcontent here from the Royal City Rollergirls.
MI Gay looking to complete her scoring pass. Knocked out by Glitter Snatch. Still picks up 4 points.
Glitter Snatch and Commander Box you're seeing there with some strong defense. Of course, they are teammates on the 2015 Toronto Roller Derby Championship Smoke City Betties.
Toronto Roller Derby well represented in this game. Also skaters from Royal City Roller Girls, Queen City Roller Girls, Tri-City Roller Derby, Durham Region Roller Derby, GTA Roller Derby, Montreal, Niagara Falls, Kingston, and Hammer City.
Nice job. Got them all in there.
Thank you.
12 leagues, 7 of them members of the WFTDA, including 5 Division 1 teams. Represented a big hit from Two Spirits. Skates as Fight of the Concords from Toronto.
Number 132, Kathump, knocked out here. She's from the GTA Roller Girls.
We are in the home arena of the GTA Roller Girls, Ted Reeve Arena, Toronto's East End. This, of course, is a Toronto Pride affiliated event ongoing since 2009. K-Thump through the pack, picking up Grand Slam. As the Blundstone Brigade tries to get back in this one, down by 9 points. 5 minutes into the first half.
Kathum calls off the jam as Noodle Caboodle re-enters the track, maybe attempting before she got out of the box, but a little too late there. That means both teams will start with a jammer on the track. Pack advantage going to the Glitterazzi with one Blundstone Brigade blocker sitting in the box.
So you notice we are not playing a regulation game here. We're playing 2 20-minute halves, but the penalty situation is the same. So 7 penalties will get you fouled out. Other than the time limit, everything else is the WFTDA.com rule set. You can find that on WFTDA.com.
Here we have Dykosaur jamming here for the Blundstone Brigade against the Glitterazzi's Ruby Fruit Rumble. She is your lead jammer.
Ruby Fruit Rumble, another Divas skater from Toronto Roller Derby in her first year of competitive derby. And Dykosaur works her way through the pack. She skates for the Durham Region Roller Derby, and she is actually a junior graduate.
Yep.
In her first season of senior derby.
Junior Roller Derby alumni and a definite threat on the track.
I have to bring that up every time because she bugs me about bringing it up every time she skates.
A proud graduate of Junior Roller Derby. And why wouldn't she be?
So things almost evened up in the pack. A slight 4-3 pack advantage for the Blundstone Brigade in the black. Glitterazzi in the white, taking the front of the pack. Looks like they were over the pivot line briefly.
Number 320, Bear from the Queen City Roller Girls, normally skating as Bear Lee Legal. She is your lead jammer for the Glitterazzi. No, not quite. Heading to the box for a back block. That means MI Gay has a chance to get lead jammer status.
MI Gay picked up a penalty on her own power jam earlier in this opening half. We'll see if the Blundstone Brigade can use this now within 13 points. They had a bit of a slow start, but they seem to have figured things out. Notorious VIG moving forward, looking for the inside-out sweep. A nice sweep off turn 4 for all 5 points for MI Gay.
Textbook offensive move from the Blundstone Brigade. See if they can do it again.
Nice sweeping to the outside, classic derby. Sometimes it's easy when you're in these all-star situations just to revert to the sort of default strategies, and working very nicely here for the Blundstone Brigade within 3 suddenly.
Absolutely. When you're not used to skating together, it's better if you're all on the same page, and it tends to be back to basics in these scrimmage situations.
Flaming Hips and Dyke Spice, though, working the defense here. They skate together for the Kingston Derby Girls. Oh, and a nice move to draw a cut on MI Gay. Power jam opportunity now for the Glitterazzi, just as the Blundstone Brigade pulled within 3 points.
MI Gay having a lot of penalty trouble so far.
I'd say all the jammers having some penalty trouble so far.
True that.
Nice moves from Bear, though, in that pack. Blundstone Brigade now setting up the defense at turn number 3. Bear calling for some offense from her blockers.
Glitterazzi trying to do a sweep. Notorious VAG Knocking out the Glitterazzi jammer, who gets a cut track call. She's sent to the box just as I Am Gay returns from it. M.I. Gay, 5-point grand slam as she exits the penalty box.
And that jam comes to its natural conclusion. 32-29, Glitterazzi staying ahead by 3 points now as we near the midway point of this opening half, and it looks like the Blundstone Brigade, Coach Naylor, are going to call a timeout.
Well, and while we're speaking about penalties, we should let you know who's doling them out. Our officiating crew tonight: head referee Penny Whistler, IPR Joe the Locksmith, OPRs are Pack is Queer, My Ref Nut, and Tyler Swift. And our jammer refs are Parking Lot and Senior Wiener.
Pretty experienced crew for a Thursday night All-Star pickup game here during Toronto Pride. A very good crew.
That's what happens is Clam Slam, a.k.a. Uhaul BRAWL, draws out the very best of roller derby because everyone has so much fun coming here.
That's right.
They won't miss it.
And we'll try and get you some of these rosters read, too, as we move through the timeouts this game. Again, skaters you may recognize, but maybe not skating under their common derby names. They're real derby names.
Yes. They're official derby names, and then there's the fun derby names. Then there's the fun parody derby names.
And apparently some people have real names, too.
Yes. I refer to those as their muggle names.
Yes. Sometimes they're listed on Facebook as their real names as well. And
confusing.
yeah, very confusing. Thank you for tuning in to layer9.ca. We've been bringing you the Uhaul BRAWL since 2011. It's been a long time since we've been broadcasting this event, starting up at the hangar. This event began in George Bell Arena in 2009, all the way in the west end of the city. Pretty much the opposite end of the city from here.
Of course, if you couldn't make it out, you can still make it to the after party at the Steady at 1051 Bloor West. Music stylings by DJ Wayback and DJ Party McFly.
And great beer on tap. Popping through on the inside line, Tiny Beaver, your lead jammer from Montreal Roller Derby.
Soul jammer on the track right now in this power jam start for the Blundstone Brigade. That's a 5-point grand slam.
Another new skater for Montreal Roller Derby, but already looking very seasoned, making some nice moves with his back. But back block picked up. I thought that was on the jammer, perhaps not. It was. Yes, Bear heading to the penalty box. So the power jam will continue for Tiny Beaver. And we have our first lead change of the game in the midst of all of this chaos on the track. Blundstone Brigade now in the lead.
Dykasaur trying to distract those Glitterazzi blockers to get her jammer through, and that's another 5-point grand slam on the board for the Blundstone Brigade. 15 points so far in this jam for Tiny Beaver.
Tiny Beaver coming around now in turn number 4, goes inside alone. Blockers, though, moving to the outside. Oliver Klozoff leading the offense with a nice little sweep, but nice reset from a very experienced line of Glitterazzi. So Dykasaur and Oliver Klozoff deciding to get a little old school, trying to drag that pack back. But jam was called off. 3 more points on the board. Lead increasing for the Blundstone Brigade now up to 15 points.
The teamwork's really coming along as these skaters feel each other out. Starting to figure out what's working and what's not working.
On the jam line for the Blundstone Brigade in the black. That is, it looks like Notorious VAG getting an opportunity now for
It is
jam.
Notorious VAG, and for the Glitterazzi is Vagillionaire, otherwise known as Murder Cat, and otherwise known as your lead jammer.
Murder Cat had a breakout season in Toronto Roller Derby this year. Skating for the Go-Go Rollergirls.
Notorious VAG still struggling to make it through on her initial pass.
The Notorious VAG skates for the Chicks Ahoy in Toronto Roller Derby, not primarily used as a jammer, but taking on advantage of this opportunity now.
Jamming like a blocker and going to the box for a back block hit. She ran into her own wall of black.
Yeah, she was just hitting anyone in her way.
Yeah, indiscriminate.
Well, that power jam for the Glitterazzi, and this is exactly the jammer they wanted on the track for this opportunity to get back in this game, and that will tie things up. 47 all, 8 minutes to go in the opening half.
You know what happens when there's a lead change? You have a drink.
That's right. DNN rule, drinking game in effect.
Yes.
especially for an event like Clam Slam.
Here at the Uhaul BRAWL, the rules
Thank you.
are there are no rules.
We're going to mess up the name a few times tonight, or at least I know I will.
How about Clam Brawl?
Clam Brawl. Two spear hit now trying to lead their jammer back onto the track. Vigillionaire still kind of working a power jam, but the notorious VAG back on the track.
Yeah. Vigillionaire slowing down a little bit, but she's already got 20 points in this jam. And a cut track to notorious VAG.
Heading back to the box as Vigillionaire picks up another 5-point back and forth. The action here. I was going to say early on, but this 20-minute half going very quickly. We're already 13 minutes in.
It's hard to tell which way this game's going to go at this point.
Another great thing about these All-Star games. Yeah, this event has a long history, attracting skaters from all across North America. This is a very Canadian-specific event compared to, I think, the past. Queen City Rollergirls from Buffalo are represented here tonight, including Bear in the pack right now. Number 820 close to you on your screen.
Last year, 2014, we had a lot of international visitors because it was World Pride in Toronto.
Right. But there's been some great skaters who have come to the Uhaul BRAWL / Clam Slam over the years, including Mercy from the Rose City Rollers, Maiden Sane, spent a few years here. Trudy Brotchery from Circle City.
Absolutely.
I'm sure I'm missing many.
Glitter Snatch making easy work of this power jam. Notorious VAG returning to the track, racing up the outside, finally completing her initial pass.
But the lead has now gone back into the favor of the Glitterazzi, up by 20 points. Make that 24 when it's all said and done. Huge pickup of another 15 points. Make that 14 points on that jam for... It's not Wachter.
For Glitter Snatch.
Glitter Snatch,
Glitter
thanks.
Snatch.
Thanks.
I remember because she's got those shorts that are going to change my life.
Excellent. That's a good way to do it.
Absolutely.
All right, Vigillionaire back on the line for the Glitterazzi and up against Am I Gay for the Blundstone Brigade. Commander Box leading the defense at the front. Nudo Kabuto with a nice force out.
Almost had a ref take out there on the outside. Tyler Swift tangling up with M.I. Gay. Vigillionaire knocked to the inside of turn one. Recycled back.
Nice hitting from Kathump, the back of that pack, working with Dykasaur now. And Dykasaur with the big hit, putting Vigillionaire to the ground.
She's had enough.
Yeah.
Still picks up 3 points for the Glitterazzi, really widening their lead over the Blundstone Brigade now.
Coming up on to the jam line, we're going to have Tiny Beaver once again for the Blundstone Brigade.
Up against Nick Nugget from the Queen City Rollergirls.
Speaking of our guests from south of the border.
Absolutely. First time jamming this bout for Nick Nugget.
Queen City has such a long history with Canadian roller derby. It's almost like they are honorary Canadians.
Absolutely. Queen City also bringing here Senior Wiener, your jammer ref for the Glitterazzi in this half.
Although he skates in his competitive version of his game for the Toronto Outrage, the men's team here in Toronto. So also a familiar face locally.
A lot of skaters travel a long way to play roller derby. Very time consuming, very financially burdensome at times, but so worth it.
I'm sure it's just a matter of time before Northern New York gets its own men's team.
Absolutely.
Although that would be a terrible loss for the Toronto Outrage.
But more teams to play against.
More teams to play against. And it looks like Oliver Klozoff getting an opportunity now to jam. Another skater for Toronto Roller Derby's Gorgor Rollergirls having a hard time with Commander Box, and now Glitter Snatch tries to push her out, cannot do it. Lead jammer status.
And we have a star pass to Vigillionaire from number 246, Ruby Fruit Rumble. Vigillionaire, now your pivot turn jammer.
Oh, and it looks like a back block is going to be called on Oliver Klozoff. So another power jam for Vigillionaire. And with the lead jammer heading to the box, this is going to be a 2-minute jam. 90 seconds left on this one.
With that huge hit from Commander Box right before she goes to the sin bin. It's like insult to injury. Oh! Vigillionaire forgets where the track is.
Heads up play, though, by Vigillionaire to make sure she came back onto the track where she went out, so she did not use out of bounds to increase her position. And then a nice easy pass for 5. Nice offense here from the Glitterazzi.
Blundstone Brigade taking the front. Glitterazzi looking to make a sweep here for Vigillionaire coming in on the inside. But Oliver Closeoff sneaks in and around the outside of the apex. Picks up 4 points.
Another clean pass from Vigillionaire. And Oliver Closeoff now trying once again to work through the pack. Another back block being assessed this time to Flaming Hips.
Oliver Closeoff sneaks by, distracts the Glitterazzi blockers. Vigillionaire looking a little bit tired right now.
Vigillionaire has done a lot of skating already this half. She's happened to be on the track a few times when there's been power jams issued.
A lot of long jams for Vigillionaire.
10 seconds to go in this one. Minute and a half to go in the half. She's still smiling. And it's a dead stopped pack at the second straightaway, as you can see. And just as Vigillionaire comes up to score, the time runs out.
Glitterazzi 24 points in that jam. Blundstone Brigade 12. Glitterazzi still a very comfortable lead as we go into what will likely be our last jam of the half.
Jockeying on the start line. This is a friendly all-star game. We're all being brought together here for Pride Toronto, a great event, but don't get me wrong. These two teams both want to win. They want bragging rights at that after party, and Dykasaur just powers her way through the pack.
Ooh, a little jammer on jammer action
Nice.
from Nick Nugget from Queen City.
And McNugget has pulled ahead, but it is Dykasaur's to call. And let's
Jammer
see.
racing into the pack, and Dykasaur plays it safe.
No points on the board, though. We will get one more jam in. Dykasaur, of course, skates as Iggy Popper for Durham Region Roller Derby. Timeout being called by the Blundstone Brigade. I'm not sure. I don't think they needed to do that.
Probably had enough time, but,
Yeah.
you know,
I guess better safe than sorry.
smoke them if you got them.
That's right. They should have called an official review, really, is what they should have done.
What are we reviewing?
Doesn't matter. Save your timeouts. You don't get those back. They're official review. You'll get another one after the half, after
Fair.
the break.
I would like to review how there's not enough rainbows here.
Yeah,
Not nearly enough.
Shockingly, not enough rainbows.
No,
Well represented, though, in the referees' socks.
absolutely. Well, they're the ones who wear the stripes. You know what I mean? It's up to them.
We should do a shout out to the benches. These are not experienced bench staff here. For the Glitterazzi this game, it's Coach Naylor from Toronto Roller Derby and Tits McGee. Those skaters are better known as Francesca Fure and Juggernaut J.
Absolutely. And for the Blundstone Brigade, it's Devotchka from Toronto Roller Derby, as well as Low Blow Palooza, also from Toronto Roller Derby.
That's their real derby names.
Yeah,
That's boring. That's boring. We'll have to have a talk with them at halftime.
I can work with this.
All right, so this will definitely be the last jam of the opening half. Glitterazzi came bursting out of the gates to take a big lead early on. Saw that lead evaporate, but have now taken it back and lead by 36. And they're going to look to build on that before the break.
Tiny Beaver looking to get lead jammer knocked out by Noodle Caboodle from Kingston.
Nice hit from Noodle Caboodle. Nice clean hit, too. And there was a huge size disparity, so she really had to get her shoulder down and make sure it was shoulder-to-shoulder contact. She did that.
It's just a shame she went out herself and Tiny Beaver was able to enter back in. Ruby Fruit Rumble, rather, still struggling to complete her initial pass.
The last time Ruby Fruit Rumble was out, she passed to Vigillionaire, and you noticed that the helmet cover was briefly off, but put back on.
Vigillionaire is hanging out at the front of the pack, though, just where you want your pivot to be if you're planning to pass. I see the hand reaching up, and intercepted by the Blundstone Brigade. They are wise to this game now.
Nice job by Notorious VAG messing up that pass, but it has eventually gotten into the hands of Vigillionaire, now on the helmet as Tiny Beaver hits the pack, gets all four, calls it off. Nice little pushback from the Brigade at the end of that opening half to get a little bit closer, down by 22.
And that brings us into halftime. We'll see you right back here in 9.5 minutes at the 2015 Uhaul Brawl.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2015 Uhaul Brawl. I am the Derby Nerd. I'm here with Pink Slaminade.
Here I am.
And you are watching the opening game of this doubleheader Toronto Pride affiliate event, as it has been since 2009. And right now we have the Blundstone Brigade in the black, trailing, but not by much, the Glitterazzi in the white. If you're just tuning in, it's been a heck of a game so far.
Absolutely. We've switched benches. Let's see if we can switch who's in the lead. Keep this a little interesting. I'm sure everyone had a big talk. You're going to see a lot more teamwork, maybe a lot more risk-taking.
Yeah, it was a back-and-forth half. There was a ton of jammer penalties. We're not keeping hard stats here at the Uhaul Brawl. This is a fun event for all. But there was a ton of jammer penalties. I'm going to say a ton is give or take.
A metric buttload.
Yes, a metric buttload.
Yes. I can say that.
Sure.
It's Uhaul Brawl.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we've got a load of NSOs we should shout out to, including the Lavender Menace, Nurse Joy, Pinky Rye, Coochie Catcher, Tyler K, Catitude, Killer Cosima, Polly Pocket, Ice Cold, and Vita Briefs.
Vita Breakfast.
Vita Breakfast, of course. That was a test.
It's all right. I've already called people by their real names. Half these skaters are going by different names, including our lead jammer, who is Glitter Snatch. You may know her better as Whackter. I think you can say buttload, considering some of the names that we're saying.
Absolutely.
Proper nouns don't count on the CRTC regulations, right?
And neither is what direction you enter the pack.
No.
Clearly, Glitter Snatch going in backwards, just toppling onto her back like you do, clearing the century mark for the Glitterazzi.
100 to 76, 24 points. Again, we are playing 2 20-minute halves. That's why there's only 19 minutes and 26 seconds left. 10 minutes have not just passed in an instant.
So pay attention. It'll be over quickly.
That's right.
Nick Nugget up against Dykasaur on your jammer line.
Nick Nugget from Queen City Rollergirls. Thanks to all of you tuning in from Buffalo.
And it looks like
Dykasaur is your lead jammer.
That's right. Senior Wieners racing down the inside to follow Dykasaur around the track, but Blundstone taking up the rear.
Nice work, though, by Dykasaur to hustle, but she did give up a steal of 2. So, yeah, that disadvantageous position from the Blundstone Brigade resulted in a steal of 2 points.
Always a risk when your team's at the back. Can you get past those other blockers in time? Tiny Beaver taking the jam line for the Blundstone Brigade up against Ruby Fruit Rumble.
Tiny
Beaver. A bit
Beaver
of trouble with the King's English.
Yeah. Well, it's King's English that's like 100 years old, so that's probably why.
Just as am I.
Oh, a nice hit from Glitter Snatch. Tiny Beaver, though, from out of nowhere, a newish Montreal roller derby skater. I don't know where they keep finding these skaters.
Very small, very fast, very agile.
And it looks like Tiny Beaver could probably skate in the advanced game.
I believe Montreal roller derby has a lab somewhere where they just produce them. They're not really born. There's no beginning or end to a Montreal roller derby player.
Yeah, test tube players.
Big pile up here from the Glitterazzi.
But Noodle Caboodle with a nice drag back is going to force the call off. Working well with Bear. Noodle Caboodle in her first season skating with the Divas in Toronto Roller Derby. Having a very impressive season. The draft is coming up at the end of the summer. For those Toronto Roller Derby fans tuning in.
Yeah, so a lot of team mix-ups. Some of these skaters are teammates. They will be no longer. Some of them aren't teammates. Will find themselves together this fall.
If for some reason you are watching this here in Toronto, why don't you just come on down here? There's another game coming up at 8 p.m. I can guarantee you it's going to be phenomenal.
There's beer and there's glitter.
Really good beer, too. Mill Street Brewery is our official beer sponsor tonight. So delicious, locally brewed beer for sale. Lead jammer status goes to Kathump. Number 132 in the black, coming up to a very slow-moving pack in the second straightaway. She makes quick work of that, gets through for all 4 and calls it off. So the Brigade keeping it close now. Suddenly have snuck into within 9 points.
Absolutely. Like I said, that strategy talk in the change room really coming through here for the Blundstone Brigade. They've got some very talented skaters. You know, there's no reason why this shouldn't be a close game.
Great jammer matchup right now as Glitter Snatch lines up against Dikasaur.
It's always going to be an entertaining jam with Glitter Snatch.
One of the smiliest jammers I've ever seen in the game. Literally, I say that, having seen a lot of derby in my day. And I've never seen a skater just smile so continuously on the track. Dikasaur, though, is your lead jammer. And there you can see a nice battle at the front of the pack. Eventually won over by Glitter Snatch.
Dikasaur coming in quickly right through the middle, making easy work of those Glitterazzi blockers. Another 4 points on the board for Blundstone Brigade. They approach the century mark. Glitterazzi has not scored in quite a few jams now.
Yeah, another nice addition is some of the numbers that we're seeing, too. That was Drunk Toddler playing defense there, known as Jammerhead Shark from Toronto Roller Derby Smoke City Betties, but I don't even know how to say that number. I actually know what it is.
What is it?
It's some kind of breakdown or scientific version of alcohol or something. It's like some version of the chemical breakdown of alcohol. Yes.
Yeah, Uhaul BRAWL really gets back to the roots of roller derby, the fun, the campiness. And speaking of going back, Vigilionaire's back with the star on. She's your lead and only jammer on the track as Tiny Beaver heads to the box.
Another power jam for the Glitterazzi. This seems to be this is kind of the way this game is breaking down. Every time the Blundstone Brigade come back and get close, they give up power jams, which allows the Glitterazzi to get back into the front again.
Roller derby's won and lost by lead jammer status, and Glitterazzi's really excelled there.
Oliver Klozoff with some nice one-on-one defense, slowing up Glitter Snatch. Vigilionaire.
Tiny Beaver rejoining the action, being brought way back by the Glitterazzi. Out of play call coming from Penny Whistler to one of the Glitterazzi blockers.
The end of that jam, the Blundstone Brigade's pivot. Oliver Klozoff heading to the penalty box.
Glitterazzi racks up another 10 points, widening their lead over the Blundstone Brigade. A third skater heading to the penalty box. That's commander box for the Glitterazzi.
It's going to be 3-3 in the pack.
We've got Nick Nugget jamming for the Glitterazzi. Up against Kathump for the Blundstone Brigade. Kathump, your lead jammer, right away. Nick Nugget manages to make a big hit from the notorious VAG. Goes down herself. What a shame.
Yeah.
Because that was beautiful.
Big hit from the notorious VAG. She's in her second year skating here at the Uhaul BRAWL.
Chicks Ahoy skater from Toronto Roller Derby. And I believe the captain of the Blundstone Brigade for this bout. Yes, she is.
And she's actually one of the few skaters tonight who will be skating in both games. She'll also be skating in the second game at 8 p.m.
Hopefully she saves some energy for the second game so we can see more of those big hits.
Penalty boxes are both emptied out. 5-on-5 roller derby. M.I. Gay up against Glitter Snatch for the Glitterazzi. Nice tight start.
Glitter Snatch going back and forth, toying with the Blundstone Brigade.
Drunk Toddler, last line of defense. Dyke Spice now recycling nicely and holding back Glitter Snatch, but it is Glitter Snatch through as your lead jammer.
M.I. Gay exiting the pack as well. Glitter Snatch only has a few seconds to score before the Blundstone Brigade catches up.
10 points is the difference, 12 minutes to go. Call off with 2 on the board, 116 to 104 now, 12 points is the increased lead.
We've got just under 12 minutes left in this game. Nick Nugget taking to the jammer line once again, up against number 5309 from the Blundstone Brigade. That's Tits Inspector jamming for the first time.
Jammers are off to Spearhead, holding the inside line. Nice knockout there from Commander Box, and that buys enough time for Nick Nugget to get through the pack and pick up lead jammer status.
Big hit against Tits Inspector. She's being recycled back.
Tits Inspector knows these blockers well, too. She skates with Commander Box and 2 spear hits on the Smoke City Betties and Toronto Roller Derbies. And she is feeling the frustration, but 2 spear hits sent to the box.
McNugget hit by a Blundstone blocker who is headed to the box for what I presume is an out of play. Tits Inspector finally out of the pack, forces the call off. Another 5 points on the board for the Glitterazzi.
Dykasaur now coming back onto the jam line, once again matched up against Glitter Snatch. This was a great battle last time. Let's see if they can redo that here. 3-3 in the pack. Glitterazzi pivotless to start things off here. The notorious VIG wearing the stripe for the Blundstone Brigade.
Only 17 points separating these teams with 10 minutes to go. The pressure is on now.
Yes, we are at the midway point here in the second half, and Glitterazzi picks up lead jammer status. Dykasaur, though, fighting her way through a couple of Glitterazzi blockers to complete her initial pass.
Dykasaur sprinting around the track, hoping to catch up before Glitter Snatch can score too many points, and busts through the Glitterazzi formation. 4 points each.
Oh, yeah, nice steal of 4 from Dykasaur.
No one's gaining advantage in that jam.
She had to power through a hit there, too, from Noodle Caboodle.
Very solid.
Thank you for tuning in to Layer9.ca's coverage of the 2015 Uhaul Brawl. Once again, I'm the Derby Nerd here with Pink's Lemonade. On the mics, Jack Salotopoulos and Bill Murray calling the game here in-house.
Don't touch that dial.
Do not touch it.
By dial, I mean the little X in the corner of the window that you're watching.
Just leave your mouse alone.
It's a new age. M.I. Gay looking to get through on the outside, and she does. She's your lead jammer for the Blundstone Brigade, chased out by Bear. Vigillionaire working her way through.
2 spear hit back on the track, so all 4 blockers out there for the Glitterazzi as M.I. Gay approaches on her scoring pass. M.I. Gay forced to the inside, calls it off after picking up 2 points.
Spread not changing much over the last few jams, still 15 points separating these teams. We'd like to give a shout out. It's such a fast-paced game, we haven't given any shout outs. We'd like to give a shout out to 1234 Skate Co. It's a skater-run, skater-owned business, and Lucid Lou is committed to providing quality products and quality service, serving Peterborough and the surrounding 705 area. 1234skateco.com.
Yeah. Well outside of the 705 area with that website.
Yes.
You don't have to be from
It's
there
on the World Wide Web.
That's right.
It's international.
Oh, Commander Box with a big hit on Tiny Beaver. And that bought enough time for Nick Nugget to get through as lead jammer.
An elbow call for Commander Box trying to edge out Tiny Beaver on the inside of that straightaway. She does not manage to. So Tiny Beaver's chasing down Nick Nugget towards the pack.
And a nice fast pack allows 4 points to be scored for the Glitterazzi. None on the board for the Blundstone Brigade. The lead now back up to 19 points with 8 minutes to go. Glitter Snatch getting extra work here in the second half. Kathump getting a lot more action with the star, too, in this half for the Blundstone Brigade. This is the home track for Kathump. She skates for the GTA Rollergirls here at Ted Reeve Arena.
GTA Rollergirls 2 weeks from now hosting the Fresh and Furious tournament,
That's right,
annual
11th.
Fresh and Furious tournament, where you will find us.
Yeah, that's right. You can watch it live here on Layer9.ca. Nice knockout from Noodle Caboodle, having kind of a breakout Uhaul Brawl.
Some big hits in this jam. Kathump almost ending up in our laps. Noodle Caboodle ending up on the ground as well. A big hit against Glitter Snatch, but she's still your lead. Oh, no, she's not. No pass, no penalty. And nobody gets to be lead jammer this jam.
Dykasaur and Dyke Spice having a lot of fun with Glitter Snatch at the front of that pack.
This is going to be a 2-minute jam.
And Kathump now trying to get through and takes another big hit from Commander Box.
Commander Box fighting to get back and recycle Kathump. Glitter Snatch taking her time with the Blundstone Brigade. Dykasaur playing blocker for this jam.
Yeah, Dykasaur having a great game as well. Picking up a multiplayer block there, though, as Noodle Caboodle also heads to the box. It's going to be even threes in the pack.
Kathump completing her first scoring pass. So far, we've got a 9-4 jam with 40 seconds left.
Yeah, lots of time left in this jam to put up more points. We are at the 6-minute mark of the opening game of the 2015 Uhaul BRAWL. Team Uhaul coming up against Plaid Mafia at 8 p.m. Lots more derby here.
Commander Box racing through, barreling to open a hole for her jammer. Kathump passing on the outside, avoiding being hit out by Glitterazzi blocker. Looks like that's Molly Malign.
Another Queen City skater, one of 3 on that team. And that jam finally comes to an end. A huge scoring jam for both teams. 18-16, almost even on the board. The Glitterazzi. Glitterazzi getting a few more points there at the end. It'll be a 21-16 jam. So that helps them maintain their lead with 5 minutes to go in the game in the second half. Has gone by quickly once again.
Absolutely. Let's give a shout out to Monster Muffin, Alter Ego Athletic Clothing, Derby owned and operated and Canadian made right here in Ontario. Find yourself today at monstermuffin.com.
And while we're at it, we might as well send a shout out to Gentle Force Chainmail as well, using the ancient art of chainmail to make jewelry that is modern, functional, and fun. Also, owls.
Everyone loves owls.
Everyone loves owls. You can
it's
actually
the hipster staple.
You can see the Gentle Force banner right on the website you're watching this video on.
M.I. Gay, lead jammer.
Perhaps a final push for the Blundstone Brigade to get back in this one.
If she can stay out of the box, this looks good for the Blundstone Brigade, but just as we say that, Vigillionaire completes her initial pass.
And Vigillionaire is one quick skater. She will get around quickly. M.I. Gay, though, very smartly calling it off after she picked up with all 4 points.
Blundstone Brigade doesn't want to waste any time. They only have just over 4 minutes left to close a 20-point gap. Not impossible, but they're definitely going to have to focus and stay out of that penalty box.
20 points. That's nothing. Although the power jam situation has really settled down here in the second half.
Yes. I think that's you can owe that to the skaters getting used to each other, and some skaters, who don't have as many refs at home and who aren't used to being watched so closely. We've got a great ref crew out here tonight.
Yeah, lots of WFTDA certifications on the shoulders of these skaters here tonight.
Tiny Beaver, your lead jammer for the Blundstone Brigade. This is what they need right now.
And this is the jammer you want on the track right now, too. Ruby Fruit Rumble, one of the Divas skaters from Toronto Roller, be having a hard time with Flaming Hips and Dyke Spice. Oh, nice knockout.
Gorgeous footwork here from Tiny Beaver. She's not able to stay in bounds, so recycled back by the Glitterazzi, calls it off. Still picks up 3 points.
Oh, and it looks like right at the end of that jam, Tiny Beaver getting called on a back block. Some discussion between the jammer ref and the outside pack ref. No.
This would be a great time to use your official Blundstone Brigade.
Yes.
Like a really great time.
Would be, but the bench staff not in the middle of the track. And again, this is an inexperienced bench staff. I think that Coach Naylor may have worked a bench or two before in her time. She also is one of the coaches with the Toronto Outrage men's team. But other than that, the other 3 men. Oh,
well, and it is just for fun. And
it is,
who's having fun is Nick Nugget.
Yeah, and Dykasaur. Dykasaur really enjoying her time in the pack. Dykasaur skates with the Durham Region Roller Derbies Adam Smashers and laid a big smash right there.
Taboma being goaded by the Glitterazzi, trying to control the pack, but Nick Nugget still managing to get lead.
And that could be the nail in the coffin for the Blundstone Brigade. Oh, don't count Tiny Beaver out, though. A nice move on the outside to get through the pack on the initial pass. But already through and scoring.
Glitterazzi choosing not to run it long. They call off. They're going to start fresh with a new jammer in what may very well be the last jam of this first bout, of this very first Uhaul BRAWL, formerly known as Clam Slam.
Toronto Pride 2015. So even if you are watching from home and you're here in Southern Ontario, this is Pride weekend. It's been a great week of festivities already, but the real fun really begins tomorrow. Should be a wild weekend in Toronto, so come on into the city.
Absolutely, and look for your local Derby girls in the Pride Parade.
Yes.
Where they'll be making another appearance.
And the Dyke March as well tomorrow.
And the Dyke March on Friday.
Yeah.
A cut track call to Glitter Snatch. M.I. Gay, the lone jammer on the track, and your lead jammer for the Blundstone Brigade. Can she do it? Can she close this gap with 1 minute left in the period? They're saying run it long. Yes. Keep going.
She thought about calling it off, and the whole bench in unison said,
don't even think about it, M.I. Gay. This is your chance.
Don't do that. So it's going to be a tight finish here. Under a minute to go. Glitter Snatch will get out of the box before this jam ends.
5 fingers in the air for a grand slam. She's got to 11 more points to close.
Slow-moving pack 2. Drunken Toddler leading the way on the offense. Splits up that pack enough, but a nice hit.
M.I. Gay knocked out, but Malcontent follows her out. Another 5 points in the air. 1 minute to go.
6 points is the difference.
6 points to tie it up. It's getting very loud in here.
Ted Reeve Arena is filling up. Oh, nice.
On the inside. 1 more point, and we're going to have ourselves an overtime jam. 2 more points, and the Blundstones are taking home the win.
Oh, my. But back on the track now is Glitter Snatch.
Oh. Knocked out on the inside. Recycled back. M.I. Gay trying to complete this scoring pass. She's looking tired.
She's already got at least 3 points, I believe, on the board, so that this could be a lead change when the points are eventually put up.
Glitter Snatch completes her initial pass and is looking to score. M.I. Gay calls it off before she can score. We have an unofficial final. 156 for the Blundstone Brigade, 154 for the Glitterazzi.
And that was it. There was 3 points on the board, so what a comeback in the final jam of the game.
Blundstone Brigade trailing since about a quarter of the way through this game, finally making up quite a sizable gap in the last jam of the game.
23-point jam to win it.
M.I. really struggling with penalties this game and coming through for her team in the very last jam.
And M.I. Gay skates as Murder She Rolled for all those fans down in the Hammer City. A great clutch performance here in the opening game of the Uhaul Brawl.
What a great result here for the Uhaul Brawl. Blundstone Brigade all smiles as they come around. Of course, this is all for fun, but made for a very exciting second half.
Oh, and don't think they'll be using that as ammunition for bragging at the after party tonight, too.
I know there's more than one hit that's going to be discussed at length.
Yeah,
a beautiful,
absolutely.
Beautiful game.
Glitterazzi thought they had it in the bag. They did not. The Blundstone Brigade comes back to take the opening game of the 2015 Uhaul Brawl. But we've got lots more Derby coming up.
Absolutely. Coming up at 8 o'clock, Team Uhaul in orange and the Plaid Mafia in blue. You can see them handing out the high fives. I'll be back.
Yeah.
You'll be back.
That game is going to be phenomenal. There's going to be members from, I mentioned this earlier, from 7 different WFTDA leagues will be representing that game, including 5 Division I leagues. So it's the level of play is going to be phenomenal. Please stick around and tune in for that one.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks for watching Uhaul Brawl on layer9.ca. We'll be back in about 20 minutes or so for the second and final game of the night.